Hi, this is Carrie from the Bay Area Short Sale Angels, Northern California's #1 short sale team. I'm here to talk to you about what happens after the BPO, the broker's price opinion, comes in. After the broker's price opinion is ordered, it typically takes about a week and a half to 2 weeks for that BPO to come in with a value to the short sale negotiator who's handling our case. Once that negotiator gets the BPO, then they're able to take a look at what we have on the table, which is a purchase agreement, an offer for the property, and the BPO, which is a broker's opinion on what the value, what the price is. And then they weigh them, and they're going to make one of 3 decisions. The first decision is what we would hope would happen every time, and that's an approval. Once we get an approval, then approval letters come out about a week and a half to 2 weeks after. At that point, we can open escrow and follow through with a traditional escrow period, which is the same as with any other real estate transaction. The second event that could happen would be for them to counter the offer that's on the table. This is what we tend to see happen more times than not. Once we get a counter offer, then we go back to the buyer in first position and say, buyer, do you want to accept, counter, or decline the bank's counteroffer? At that point, it can go back and forth until everybody gets to a point that they're happy with, or until one of the parties decides, forget it, it's not worth it, I'm walking away. If the buyer in first position, or if the bank decides that that's just not going to work out, then we go to the backup buyers and we say, okay, here's what the bank is wanting. Can you come up to that? Can you step up to that? Sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. Most of the time we have enough people waiting in the sidelines that we're able to find something closer to what the bank will be happy with. And then again, once the bank gives us the approval letters, we move on to opening escrow and closing out the transaction. Now, the third option that the bank has would be to deny the offer, deny the short sale. This doesn't happen quite as much, but it does happen, and typically we're able to find out why it was denied. Maybe it was the terms, maybe it was the price, maybe they felt like it wasn't an arm's length transaction. Once we find out the reason why, then we're able to, and armed, to go out there and try and find a buyer that's closer to what the bank would approve. Now, if we don't get that information, then, it's a big guessing game. We just go out there and try and find another buyer and try again and try again and try again until we get the approval. Again, once we get the approval letters, then we can open escrow and close traditionally, which depending on what the terms of the offer are, it could be an FHA offer, which would take about 45 days traditionally to close, or a conventional offer, which more times than not is closing in about 30 days. Or we could have an all-cash buyer on the table, and that's closing within 10 to 15 days. So that's what you can expect. Sometimes it takes a little bit more time, sometimes it takes a little bit less, but those are the points in which things are happening. This is Carrie from the Bay Area Short Sale Angels, where we believe there is nothing worse than doing nothing.